how to survive in your own made rattle. His name is the BurrowBuck and he just got released a couple of days ago. I'm a bit late to this, I'm sorry. And like many of you know, they can make rattles, which looks like this. They also have a teleport and stuff like that, but we will talk about that later. With the release of this new tame, it brought some new ways to survive on Ark. Especially for the smaller tribes, beginning tribes, whatever. But it also has some uses for the bigger tribes as well. So you can only have one of these per map. However, what you can do is make multiple entrances. I am very far away from the other one right now. If I hold C, I will demolish one of the pop-up entrances. This is basically the second entrance that we made to the same rattle. We want to demolish that and we can just simply make one again. So you can basically access your rattle from anywhere. You can see we are back here again by the other BurrowBuck. And if we hold C, we will demolish the other entrance. So this is really good for solo and starting and whatever. Because if you have your crafting station here and you did a meta run pretty far away or anything, you can just make a new entrance that teleports straight into your base. And when you go through the base, you can remove that entrance just so no one will ever know you were ever there. So that is really good, really strong about these guys, especially early game like I said. However, you cannot place turrets or Teslas in there. Not that it matters that much, since you can destroy the outside with 5 C4. Like you can see, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's gone. Your tames will be mostly teleported outside. Sometimes they don't and they die to anti-mesh. But all your stuff will be underneath there. You can place plant eggs inside, but then again, if they blow up from the outside, not really cool. However, you should still defend it a little bit. If you live in one of these self-made rattles, you can make it work in two ways. First is by placing and keeping the rattles very hidden. Insufficient place below. Of course, there has to be space below it. So you kind of have to figure out where you can place them. So you cannot just snap it in any corner. It does need space below. Right now I'm just checking as I go, but the best thing you can do is go in single beforehand. And check if there's enough space. I think the water is blocking the space, but I'm not sure. Oh, here I can. Okay. Let's check into the mesh real quick. Here it is right under the ground. Of course you would want it a bit more in a corner. This is on the edge of the map, so not many people would go here. That is a big plus. The only thing you have to watch out for is it does count as 22 structures. So if people scout with the structure out, they will see 22 structures. Even if you have nothing placed in the bunker. However, on Ark, especially PC, there is of course a lot of cheating. Especially ESP. So the best way to hide it is to place it somewhere where people don't go. Like the edge of the map. Or just that surface, like Lost Colony is not being played a lot on official at least. Place it on Lost Colony somewhere really where no one would ever go. And of course, it is a lot better to place it behind a waterfall, inside of these bushes, behind this tree, you know, stuff like that. Just anything to cover it up a little bit. Behind this rock here, you know. Just try to place it somewhere where it's a bit hidden for legit people coming here. Because you never know, there's always a chance a random ass person tries to come here for whatever reason. You might think, aren't sky quartzes better? I'd say against cheaters, not anymore per se. Because some of them literally run a script where they go across the whole sky automatically. It of course takes a bit of time, but still the whole script does it himself. And even when it detects a quetzal, it like stops or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but I do know it's a thing. Of course, sky quetzals are still really good, because not everyone is gonna check the whole sky on every single server. That's gonna be really AIDS. A good thing is Astraeus, since you can put it like in the middle, like not all the way on the sky border, but still high enough above the ground so it's not in render. However, Astraeus is a really populated map. People love playing there, people play there a lot. So you gotta be careful there. Okay, so the generator inside of the hole does not power anything outside of it anymore. I just checked it with a normal and a tech generator. I'm pretty sure that it did before. But I made this video a bit late, so it's probably already patched. However, that would have been a pretty good thing. Because I was gonna say, you could use this near a really small base to get a little breeding area down below. You know, if you do have a small base, let's say this is a pretty good spot and you have a base here. You can place that so you can raise down below. Of course, it's not too big. And then you're a bit more low-key instead of having 20 tames raising outside, right? So that's a use you got for it. And also, I would say it is better than the quetz because you can teleport to your base from anywhere. You don't have to fly to it. You can have a crowd bridge inside. I can be on the other side of the map. I'm not sure if it captured it. I kind of fucked up with the recording. However, I just teleported all the way from the red obelisk towards here. So I was saying that it is very OP. You could always just teleport back into your base with whatever you have. This lovely rabbit also has teleporters. However, the teleporters auto-decay after 1 hour. And of course, everything resets timers. So just like the bunker had 2 days, it is 2 days again. But you do have to go inside and outside to reset it. So as long as you're online every 2 days and you're using it, this will not auto-decay. A teleporter has 1 hour. So of course you're not going to upkeep that forever. But what you could do is basically place a teleporter at a metal spawn, use it to farm metal, and then when you're done farming metal, you can just let it auto-decay. You can just go back and forth farming metal for a couple of times. You could do this for like 5 hours. No one's gonna farm metal for 5 hours. But let's say you did. You could just farm that for 5 hours, go back, let it auto-decay or destroy it yourself. So the teleporters are still very useful. You can have 6 per BurrowBuck at a time, so you can have a lot of teleporters and teleporting around. So it's still really good to have for a solo player. Yeah, I was also gonna say, because you can power turrets outside with a generator inside, it is very good for a normal generator since the extinguisher grenade is very OP right now. You can wipe bases in seconds by just placing a extinguisher grenade somewhere in the area of the normal generator, which is in my opinion way too OP, should be removed. However, that's why this was very good, not anymore. You also have a bit of space here. So if you're hiding, if you're using this for a little breeding area, you could even get a second layer if you're raising a lot of really small dinos. And you could use this as a little crafting area, of course, with a built-in teleporter. Really cool. What I would do to defend this a little bit is have like 2 power mains on aggressive here, maybe some other tames. And what you could do is have a plant X just in the back here, the furthest away from the entrance. But that's gonna take up a ton of space. And it's not worth it, I think. I think just aggressive dinos, completely fine. Just so a Bob cannot just walk into your base and take whatever they want. Of course, if you have a base above it, you have turrets defending it, so you don't even have to defend it that bad. But that's basically how you defend this. If you destroy this bunker, like we can now... Oh no, it is destroyed, sad, of course. So the tames will be teleported out, but most of the loot will still be in there, in the mesh. So what you can do as a raider... Oh, there's actually bags here. Okay, well, these guys get teleported to the top. Maybe they changed it actually, since you can also not power turrets outside again. I'm still gonna give the tip though. I see stuff teleporting on top of the floor now, but what if it doesn't happen? What if it does drop into the mesh? You can have your own BurrowBuck and basically place your own rat hole down below there. If the bags are in the mesh where the bunker used to be, you can simply go there and grab the bags like this. You might have to redo this a couple times because they don't always perfectly line up with the other one. Yeah, this one is more... I feel like this one is more to the side, where the other one was more straight like this. But still, you might be able to grab some bags. And you can just redo this, so... And if they did fix the bags dropping on top of the mesh, that's really good. That's nice. You can even place this in some rat holes for a little bit more space. This should be enough space, but apparently it isn't. I don't know why, maybe I'm missing something. But you can always check this in single player. Just see if there is something underneath here. Maybe this is too low to the ground, this... But in some rattles you just need space underneath. Just go check that out in single player. And Frodo the Dodo also tested the Aberration zone. You can place it on the surface entrance and during daytime your base will not be destroyed. However, your character does take damage, so you cannot use it during daytime. You don't have to use this as a base, by the way. You could use this in the beginning as a really OP teleporter. Because like I said, the hidey hole doesn't disappear. So even if you don't use it as a base, use it as a place where you can always teleport to. Use it outside of your base. Anytime you need a cheap teleporter, use that one. So what I think about this rabbit, I think this is very OP early game. The base is not too strong, but you could use it to have a hidden base. However, if it gets found, it is gone. Unless you defend it on the outside, but then it's not hidden anymore, so I would just build a normal base then and use it as a crafting or teleporting station. But besides that, this guy is so easy to tame. You need some ghillie, passive tame it. It is very easily. There's enough guides about it. I'm not gonna go over that. The BurrowBuck saddle unlocked at level 33, so you can just do a node run. It costs basically nothing. 2 metal, temp paste. It is very cheap. And the movement is great. You got this long jump if you hold the space. And you got a triple jump, so you can jump 2 more times while in the sky. So the movement is insane. You got the camo where you just go somewhat invisible and they can just not see you anymore. You could de-aggro while tames and escape from real people. However, all the teleports and the hidey hole and even the traps which I'm gonna talk about, they all look the same. If you press X, you're gonna switch from type of hole. Now we got the gateways. The gateways are just cheap teleporters with an hour decay timer. And traps. You can have 4 traps. They cannot trap Rexes, but they can trap stuff like Stegos, whatever. The enemies can see these though, so they can simply walk around them. I would say this is a great addition for the early game, especially the TP part. The whole rattle part is not that special, but the teleport is very OP. It's gonna help you build up a lot faster, go across the map a lot easier. And for late game, you could use it as a cheap teleporter to a FOB or something. But then again, it is not that OP for late game. The traps are okay, you could use them, but they're not the strongest either. Anyways, thanks for watching, see ya.